This podcast is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned,
Hey, Bill.
Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Hey guys, doing good.
Man, we're having a good time today, man. Just kind of hanging out. SEC Media Days just got over with. Did you learn anything new? You get the attraction of it. I mean, we all understand what an event it's become. And I know you were telling us last week how you were one of the first ones, if not one of the first one down there when it started. How big of an event it is this year. Is it all just for kind of clicks and just to kind of everybody get going, or did you learn anything this year?
Yeah, it was the first radio show to set up, but heck, it was going on long before me. Matter of fact, guys, they used to have the Skyriders tour where you fly city to city, and that ended in the 80s. And I wasn't part of that, obviously. Guys, I did about 30 of those, and I did the Big 10 and the Big 12, many of them. And I'm glad I don't go anymore. It's just a zoo. It's a meaning. Now, for me, it's a meaningless zoo. It's a waste of my time. There's nothing to be gained from it. Again, from my world and my perspective, I didn't watch much of it. I noticed the little snit that Baby Kiff had with Feinbaum. That was kind of funny, right? There was a little comedy there. One year, the entire event was all about how Nick Saban got mad at Feinbaum about Feinbaum criticizing him over not disciplining players hard enough. That was the story of the event. After that, I said, this is useless. So for me, and I know I'm in the minority, the fans love it, it's a waste, a colossal waste.
Speaking of Nick Saban, do you agree with his prediction of Georgia, Texas being 1-2 this year in the SEC? And if not, I got Georgia, Bill. I got Georgia picked to be number one.
Yeah.
Who do you have? Do you think it's Georgia, Texas, and where do you think Alabama is when it's all said and done?
I would have no issues with that 1-2 right now. I would be very wary of Alabama. I don't think there's going to be much of a drop. There may be a transitional, obligatory drop-off, but there's not going to be much of a drop-off, if any. And I think once they get rolling, if they're in sync, they're going to be as dangerous as anybody in the league. Now, in the beginning, I think you need to be careful. You've got a coaching roster transition. You've got players transitioning some. You've got a recruiting class. You got the portal. That might take a little time, but that's going to be a wicked ball club. I'd have them probably 3, and this is the best Ole Miss roster of my lifetime. And so I'd have Ole Miss number 4. I think after that, once you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think you could take those teams and really debate them out in probably any order you could be right.
Yeah, LSU, they could be one of those teams. That,
right.
The thing you bring up, and I think it's a very, very valid point. That coach that's at Alabama, hasn't he won like 71% of his games since he's been coaching? So I don't see much of a drop-off, too. I mean, that guy wins wherever he goes. We had this ESPN list come out, Bill, and it got me thinking. They were doing the best athletes, best 100. I don't know if you've seen it, best 100 athletes in the world since the year 2000. And they had Tom Brady at 5, and I'm like, well, what really is an athlete? Michael Vick would be 5 if you're talking about athletes. We're not talking about best quarterback. But it got me thinking about SEC. In what position do you – I want to ask you, who are some of the best athletes in your mind since the year 2000? But what position do you value that you think is the most athletic position when you're building a football team?
I didn't see the list, so I can't use Bo. None of these guys are Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson's an all-timer. That's right.
Yeah, and he played in the early '80s at Auburn, so I don't know time frame and everything. I'm off. But when you go with him and you go with Deion Sanders, you're not doing better than that. And again, that kind of predates that list there. Since then, just as far as incredible athletes, see, Charles Woodson would be in there.
He's number 100.
He's multifaceted.
Yep.
Yeah, he that year he won the Heisman over Peyton Manning, which in this state still is sacrilege. He played receiver, made plays at receiver. Now, he didn't take a bunch of reps at receiver, but when he did, he made plays, and he was an All-American DB and, of course, a superstar pro on top of that. But he would come to mind as well. Boy. just in that athlete
The honey,
role.
Does the honey badger, does he get on there?
Kyler Murray is
Okay.
a first-round draft pick in 2 sports. That's crazy. That's lunacy right there. He'd have to be in there somewhere high.
Yeah, he was. He was taken like 7th or something over on the baseball draft, and he was still kind of trying to wait for him to come to fruition there in Arizona. I was a little leery, Bill, when they draft undersized quarterbacks like Bryce Young at Carolina, which you need a little stability. You know, I'm not going to blame last year on Bryce Young, but you see what C.J. Stroud did. You know, he's a little bit taller, a little bit bigger kid. Do you think Jalen Daniels at Washington with the Redskins this year, does he fit the mold? Do you think he's big enough to last and be a successful NFL quarterback?
He's lengthy. He's not built. Kyler Murray's 5'10", but he's about 218.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it's still a little short. I'm not suggesting that's preferable, but he's got a body where he can at least protect himself. Bryce Young is listed at 6 foot. That's doubtful. And I think with bricks in his pocket, he weighs 190. He doesn't have the body, the reinforced body, to take what that league's going to dish you. He had problems at Alabama with that. As fantastic as he was, it's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be tough to hold up in that. Even the big guys are knocked out, right? The guys that do have this 6'4", 238-pound body at quarterback go down. But that is absolutely a concern. And the kid at Tennessee, I think, is a potential high first-round pick, Nico Iamaleava. He's put on 30 pounds, and they're listing him at 215, and he's 6'6". When he gets there someday, that's going to be a worry.
We got, Bobby Petrino is the new hotness at the University of Arkansas, and a lot of talk going about in the offensive side. Travis Williams, year 2 on this defensive side, and we lost our best defensive player. He transferred to Ole Miss. I think he's going to play on Sundays. I don't even think it was close. He was our best defensive player last year. How do you see this Arkansas defense, and do you think maybe that – because I think Petrino being here is an extra win or two. Do you see this Travis Williams defense, if we have enough talent, there's no chance – I mean, there's no reason the Hogs can't win 6 games this year.
Well, I think that's very fair. Bob Petrino is on the A-list of offensive minds. No question. And regardless of where he's at right now, and obviously back there in Fayetteville. But defensively, that's been an issue last couple of years, and this league has gotten better. The problem with anybody in this league, the 16-team new-look league with the 2 new members, is it's harder than ever, and there are no divisions. So let's say you get lucky and get in a division that's not as good as the other one, like the Big Ten West, then you can take advantage of that. There's no doing that anymore. It's harder than ever to play from behind in the roster management game, the roster catch-up game, than in history. Even though they will let you catch up with scholarships, which they used to not let you do. If you're behind, they'll let you exceed the 25. That's good, but it's still way difficult. And this league is there's no, other than probably Vanderbilt, there's no free lunch. It is absolutely brutal. There is a Mike Tyson waiting for you on every street corner.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.